very, very deep poverty. I come from a family of domestic violence, drug abuse, sexual abuse, and as I grew older, I kind of figured that that's the way life was and that's the way everyone lived. There's like so many different poverties, but for me it was, my mom was born into poverty, I was born into poverty, and it was just the way life was. There was no getting better, or there was no one to help us. I started doing drugs at a very young age because everyone in my family did it. A very dear friend told me that I needed to get off of drugs and I needed to get my life together. And when they told me that, it was, my life was okay to me, but I didn't realize how much help I needed. And so
I come from a good family, I would say. I was more of a military brat. I mean, my mom passed away when I was 7 years old, and my dad was a very, very bad alcoholic. So my brothers and sisters raised me. I had 7 brothers and 4 sisters, and I was the baby out of all 12. I just made bad choices. I remember walking the streets just homeless, just didn't know where to go. It was 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was just walking and walking and walking. And I said, God, you know, I am so tired. Please send me an angel. And it was so funny. And it's like I closed my eyes and then I opened my eyes, and there was this old lady sitting on this porch at 3 o'clock in the morning. And she said, baby, are you okay? And I said, no. And it was the weirdest thing. That little lady sit there and talked to me all night long. And I had a warrant, and I wanted to go to jail, but I didn't want to go to jail. And that little lady talked me into going to jail, and I went to jail, and I came out, and I came to Perpetual. But I know, I'm saying that to say that I know all of this was of God. You know, all of this was of God. And I'm just so happy to be here.
I came from a very affluent family. My father was a CEO for an oil company. He lived in London. He was in charge of London, Ireland, Scotland, and the Houston division. We had a $1 million flat across from the St. James Palace. Also had a house a half mile up from the Wimbledon tennis court. Had a grandfather that had a house on the Hudson River in New York. My family had a lot of money. I was 19 and I chose to get into drugs. And from that point on, I went down a very dark and deep, very dark road that led me to a lot of horrible places and horrible events that happened in my life. Almost 17 years of hardcore drug addiction, from heroin to cocaine, crack addiction, 5 times in the penitentiary, feeling completely hopeless and lost. I'm from the streets of Houston, Texas. I've got 8 theft felonies. I prostituted for years. I didn't know where else to go. I felt at the end of my ropes. I'm extremely grateful that I met Perpetual. That's all I can say on that. I'm sorry.
Second.
I'm okay. This is emotional. How far we've come.